Liverpool will not be bringing it back home this year. It is delight for Milan. It is despair for all those involved with Liverpool Football Club. It was just a bridge too far for Rafa and co.
Well, it's hard to watch, isn't it? The two guys in the studio are finding it hard to look back on there. What is it that sticks in your mind most, or sticks in your throat most about that particular night?
The fact that Inzaghi scored 2, and I just think he's absolutely useless. He scores goals, but like, I just think he's like really rubbish. And you know, if Kaka had scored 2, you'd think, all right, we've been beaten by a world-class player, but Inzaghi, I hate Inzaghi.
Chris, you didn't make it out like so many of the Liverpool fans. I think it will probably be most remembered by people in this city as just being chaotic from start to finish, trying to get a ticket, getting out there, getting back.
Yeah, well, of course, a lot of my friends go to the matches everywhere, and I know they struggled. Maybe there was a lot of unhappy people with regards to the distribution and the amount of tickets available. Finals are events for the fans, and you know, the club are always quite readily available to praise the fans as a 12th man, and maybe, you know, it's a two-way thing. There's a lot of disappointed people there.
Yeah. It was a pathetic amount of tickets that Liverpool were given in the first place, and they were advised at every step of the way, UEFA, this will not be enough for Liverpool fans.
I know, I mean, UEFA have got a lot to answer for, but then the way the club handled it as well, you know, it caused a lot of resentment. And like you say, just from the Chelsea game, from what we got through in that semi-final, for me, everything's just seemed to have just gone wrong since then, starting with the ticket fiasco. Then we lost the final, then, you know, afterwards the fallout from the final with like Rafa and the owners, and
it was a massive missed opportunity, wasn't it?
Yeah,
you know, maybe if we'd have won 6th European Cup,
if we'd have won, everything may have been different. I don't know, but just it was the chance gone, because they were there for the taking, I thought.
The off-the-field stuff and the chaos that I and many other people saw outside the stadium, then to be blamed after you lose a final by a UEFA spokesman for causing the problems in the first place. There was an element of people who caused problems, but it was nowhere near the majority.
No, but you expect that from UEFA, don't you? I mean, it's just it's the way they are. I mean, what happened how can you have a stadium with no turnstiles for a Champions League final? I mean, I got through, I was really early when I went in. I got in about 3 or 4 hours before kick-off, and my ticket was looked at, but it wasn't checked, and people next to me were walking in with just like leaflets, holding the leaflets up in the air and walking through. It was farcical, and that was when there wasn't that many people there because it was early, so I can only imagine how bad it got after that.
I just had a horrible feeling something devastating was going to happen that night. People were going to get hurt and killed.
We've been there before, haven't we? And you know, maybe, you know, if UEFA would have addressed the ticket situation fairly in the first place, then it wouldn't have ever come to that, would it?
No.
No.
Okay, it ends in disappointment. Time for a quick break now, but when we return we'll continue our review of 2007. Back in a few minutes. Hello, welcome back to Kop Talking, the show where we look back on 2007 with the help of my two guests. They're fanzine writers Dave Usher from the Liverpool Way and Chris Murphy from Boss. Now, we've talked about tickets. It's time to talk about Torres now. Was he the best transfer of 2007? You for us first, Dave. Would he go down as yours?
He's got to, hasn't he? He's been sensational. Although, if you're looking at value for money, then there's I don't know how much we actually paid for Mascherano. I mean, I've read that we paid £1 million for an 18-month loan, which, you know, that's a great bit of business. Arbeloa was a steal for what we paid for him. He's come in and done really well, but you'd have to say Torres.
I thought he might have got a mention on most improved player, Arbeloa. He went through sort of peaks and troughs in the season, but as Dave mentions, could turn out to be a great signing.
He's a great player, and he's really tidy, quiet, but effective. You know, he's very much like Finnan in that aspect. He can play right across the back, left back, right back, or even in the middle, as we've seen was at Sunderland today.
Yeah, when Cara went off injured.
But he offers good competition, particularly for the likes of Risa and Finnan.
When you look at the signing of Fernando Torres, and there are quite a few managers at the top end saying that they were disappointed that they maybe didn't have the opportunity to sign him. Will he go down as a Liverpool great, do you think, in the long term? Will he be up there with Rush and Dalglish in 5-10 years' time?
He is hoping so. At last we've got a nice number 9 from Fowler's day, so we can really be proud about. He makes all the right sounds, you know, he sounds like a nice young lad, level-headed. I think he's just a good Liverpool player. He's exactly what we need. No big ego.
Could he compare to Rush or Dalglish? Can you see bits of those two players in Torres yet?
Yeah, there's similarities, but it's like too early to be making a comparison. They're legends. They've done it over a long period of time. Torres has made a great start. He's got to keep that up. But from what he's shown so far, he looks like he's got everything that he needs, and he's going to get better because he's only young. But it's his attitude. We touched on it before. He just seems to have like a Liverpool attitude. He's what you want in a Liverpool player. I mean, when he was at Atletico Madrid, he was like dropping hints that he wanted to come here. So it's not just big payday going to a big club and that. He's obviously got like some kind of emotional ties here as well. He had the armband, didn't he, with "You'll Never Walk Alone" on his captain's armband, and to me that just screamed out like, "Come and get me," But now he seems like a good lad as well.
Very much at home. I know you picked him out as your player of the year. Would he go down as signing as well?
Yeah, we've had some very good signings over the summer. Less players like Benayoun probably coming to replace Luis Garcia, if you like, and he's already proved a lot of people wrong when Benitez, declared his interest with him. A lot of people sounded pretty disgruntled. He's chipped in with a few good goals, and he's proved a very good squad player.
Just very briefly on that, I think a lot of people were disappointed to see let Luis Garcia go, weren't they, in that move? That was the only downside to him coming to the club.
Yeah, well, that's right, and of course no one had the opportunity to give him a farewell gesture from the Kop or anything like that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of split opinion about Garcia, but he produced the goods, didn't he, on the big stage.
Big game player, wasn't he? Yeah.
February might stick in your mind as well, because Robbie Fowler departed the club. That was a sad day for Liverpool fans everywhere. Inevitable but sad.
It was good because you never thought he'd be back in the first place to leave again, and he came in, he chipped in with a few good goals, and he'd give the team a real boost when he signed.
Yeah, give the fans a big lift as well, having him back, and he didn't disgrace himself. He played well, and the first season he came back, I thought he was excellent. He was at the end of that season, he was probably our best striker. He scored a few good goals and that, and then he just found it hard to get in the team. Then when you're not playing, somebody like Robbie needs to be playing every week, for his sharpness and his fitness. He found it difficult because he wasn't playing. His form wasn't great when he did play, but it's just he didn't disgrace himself. He had some nice moments to leave with as well, and it was just great having him back.
Well, from that month as well, from February, it will probably stick in your mind more because it's more your era, but Bob Paisley didn't get the knighthood that every Liverpool fan thought that he deserved after his death.
No surprise there though, is there really? You've got to, I probably can't say that, but no, I'm not even going to touch that one. He's Sir Bob to us, isn't he? Yeah. That's all that matters.
Okay, European performance then of 2007. What's yours, Chris?
I'd have to say the 8-0 recently against the Besiktas, just because it was the record, and it's nice to see 8 goals at Anfield. Over the last few years, we haven't really been destroying teams. We get to 3-0, 4-0, and then that's it. Yeah. But 8-0's an absolute romp in Europe as well. The eyes of the media and the whole Europe on us, it was really good.
It was like the good old days. But in terms of how did Liverpool conspire to lose against them, I think that was a big question that come out in the pubs afterwards, wasn't it?
Well, he answered any critics for the performance, didn't he?
Yeah, he proved the point, I'd say. I'd agree with that. I mean, there was other great performances as well, to win in the Nou Camp. That was fantastic, and I don't think hardly anyone expected us to do that. So that was a great achievement. The games with Chelsea were it was good. It was closely fought, but I thought we definitely deserved to beat them. I thought we were the better side over the 2 games, but I'd say Besiktas as well, just because nobody else has done it. It was a record, and like Chris says, usually you get a few goals up and then tend to ease off a bit, but we didn't. We just kept going, looking for goals. And right up to the end, I think the referee blew up right on time. We didn't give them any stoppage time. But if he had it done, we hit the post twice in that game as well. If we'd have given more stoppage time, I think we'd have scored again, because every attack, it looked like we were going to score, and it was just great to see that we didn't just sit back on what we had. We kept going for it.
I think the Besiktas towel had come in by that stage onto the edge of the pitch. That was why I didn't play the extra time. You mentioned Camp Nou, and while we're reminiscing, let's take a look at that game, shall we?
Ronaldinho. That was outrageous, but effective. Zambrotta, Gerrard's committed. It's Zambrotta, it's a measured ball. Deco! Barcelona have the lead. Quick thinking by Alonso. Steve Finnan on the overlap. Great cross, great Bellamy coming in! It's crossed the line, has it?